Let's go. Hey there, welcome back to another video. This time it's going to be a relatively... how do I put this? It's gonna be another one. There aren't any developments in the Vic case that I know of at this moment. And I know that I normally hold off from recording on the weekends because it's actually a Saturday at around 7:30 in the morning Pacific time as I record this. But I feel like I need to address something. There are going to be pictures and stuff like that going up somewhere on screen. I'm not really sure where they're going to be detailing everything, but I'm going to read them off to you, and I'm going to be really open. I'm going to be really open about what's going on. So let's go ahead and get into it. So for those of you that don't know, I have a disease. I have a leg disease known as cerebral palsy. Now, cerebral palsy is a disease that can really it can really affect any part of the body, but it mostly works in the legs. At least that's what my case is. I did know someone, I did have a significant other once who had the same disease, and it affected the entire right side of her body. And so it can have a wide-ranging. It can have a lot of. There are a lot of versions of it, like where it can attack and stuff like that. But for me, like I was saying, it's in my legs, and I've had it pretty much my whole life. I've had it since, according to my mom, I've had it since I was 2 or 3, I think. I think that's when she said I was diagnosed. But what it does is it basically prevents me from walking the same way that everyone else does, and it makes me walk with a limp. At least my case does. There are more severe cases, by which I mean that you can literally be wheelchair bound. And you can be wheelchair bound, like with the girl that I mentioned earlier. You can have the entire right side of your body affected. There's a lot of versions of it. Those are the only two that I know about myself, because I've seen them in action. But there are more serious versions of it out there. And in fact, there's a friend of mine, really sweet girl. She actually has the disease herself, and she actually is wheelchair bound. And so she can't use her legs whatsoever in terms of walking. At least I don't think she can. But yeah, the point that I'm trying to make is that there are a ton of different variants of this disease that can be given to a child. And so what I wanted to address today was a series of comments by a user named GHHGGVGV. And so he's commented on 3 of my videos, and the pictures that are actually going up right now, or that are going to be going up in the editing process, are actually videos taken from the YouTube Studio mobile app, because for whatever reason the browser version wouldn't show me his comments, and so I had to find them some other way. But either way, they're here now, and let's go on ahead and just go through the first one. So again, some of this guy's comments have some profanity in them and some vile language, and so like I do in all my videos, I'm going to try to hold back as much as possible, but I am going to be opening up a lot, and telling you guys pretty much my whole story. So I'd appreciate it if if you could spread it around. If you could spread it around once this video is complete. Because it took me a really long time to come out with this on this channel. because I was afraid of how people would react. I mean, this is a disease is one of those issues where you can't you're scared to tell people about it because you don't know if you'll be ostracized for it. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So anyway, let's go on ahead and go through this first comment. I figured your retarded game out. You're faking palsy to get sympathy to get close to children. All you Vic defenders are P to the E to the D to the O. Rolling on the floor laughing my butt off. Hashtag fake palsy. Now, where do I even begin with this? So, I might as well tell you guys my full story now. So, like I said, I was diagnosed with the disease at a very young age, at least according to my mother. And it prevented me from walking the same as everyone else, and it made me walk with a really bad limp. And I was picked on and ridiculed for it all throughout elementary school. And when I was in, I believe I was in 3rd grade when I had it, I had a rhizotomy, which is basically an experimental procedure that's never really been done before. You know, cutting like a prototype. And what the doctors were trying to do was they were trying to basically trying to, well, they couldn't cure the palsy, but what they could do is they could remove the clonus in my feet, as well as lengthen my hamstrings. Now, granted, I could lengthen my hamstrings myself. The problem was, at that time, it was extremely difficult for me to do. Because the way my legs were, I couldn't bend my leg all the way. Because of it. And so, like I said, the procedure happened, and they went in through my back. I actually still have a scar of it to this day. I'm not going to show you. But I still have a scar of it to this day. And so what they did was they went in through my back, and any overactive nerves in my legs, they essentially clipped. And so it's not to the point where I don't have the disease anymore. I mean, I'm always gonna have it. But it allowed me to be more flexible with my legs, and it allowed me to fully stretch them out and stuff. In order to, you know, eventually get to the point where I can walk the same as everyone else. Which I'm actually gonna get into a little bit later on in this video. But in terms of this comment, I've been ridiculed for this pretty much since my adolescence. But I did not expect this level of heinousness. I did not expect this level of ridiculopathy and pettiness. I mean, saying that I'm faking palsy, is when I've been diagnosed with it, and I've had it since I was a small boy, is ridiculous. It's the equivalent of saying that a schizophrenic is faking his outbursts. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Moving on. So, the next comment was actually left on my Kickvick is doxing people video. And, you know, the video where I told you guys that, you know, the papers were officially coming and stuff like that. And so, this one actually hit me pretty hard. But yeah, let's go on ahead and just go through this. Oh, great! More news from a loser with fake palsy. Rolling on the floor laughing my butt off. Go to hell, you retarded PEDO. Now, that hit me in a very hard place because, well, it didn't hit me nearly as hard as the comment as the last comment that we're gonna get to, but it did. It almost made me tear up inside. Let's just put it like that, because what this person is essentially saying, and a lot of people on Twitter, especially Ren's cronies, what they've been implying is that because of the disability is because of this. Hold on while I gather my words here. What they're essentially saying is that because of the disability that I was born with, and because of what I have, what they're saying is my opinion isn't valid. Essentially. And to me, that hits me in a very hard place. Because I don't understand where this rationale is coming from. Other than just blind ignorance and the fact that this guy apparently hates special needs people. But, I mean, I might as well tell. So, for those of you guys who don't know, I helped out a group of special ed children when I was a junior and senior in high school. And also, well, I was their TA my junior and senior year, but I was also in their PE class, like, as a special needs kid, my freshman and sophomore year. And so I kind of got to go 4 years straight of knowing these kids and getting to know them and stuff. But when I was a TA, it became very... we got a lot closer. Because we're talking about kids who have... well, I'm talking about kids who had... I mean, they weren't, like, on the schizophrenic level, but they were, you know, they had similar diseases to what I have, albeit somewhat worse. You know, they had similar diseases to what I have. And so I could relate to them on that level because, you know, I was essentially the same way. And I can recall... oh boy. I can recall this one day over at my high school. I think it was when I was a junior. It's been a little bit, so I can't exactly remember when it happened. But I do remember the event as clear as day. So what happened was, so the special ed class that I helped out, they met for class by the special education bathrooms, by the gymnasium. And so I went over there, and well, because the thing is, before the special ed class, I had lunch period, and then before that, I had a English class. And so what happened was one of my friends from the English class actually followed me over to where I met the special ed kids. And I had my schedule out, just in case the security guard came up and asked what I was doing there. I would show them the schedule and say, "Hey, I'm helping these guys out. I'm their assistant. I'm just waiting for them. Don't worry about it." What this guy did was he found me there, and the kids were taking a little bit to come out of their classroom, and so I decided to just wait on them there. And it didn't take them very long to come, but to come out of their classroom, but between the time I got there and the time that they came out of their classroom, this guy came up and he asked what I was doing there and if I had a free period. Actually, come to think about it, free period, I think that was when I was a senior. Yeah. But so what happened was I showed him my schedule and I said, no, I'm helping these kids out. They're special needs. They have disabilities, stuff like that. And so he asked, "So you're just doing it for the credit then?" And that was kind of a slap in the face to me, because I genuinely wanted to help these guys out. And I feel like I did. And so, what happened was, I basically said, well, no, I mean, I'm helping these guys because I genuinely care about them. It's not just for the credit. If it was just for the credit, I wouldn't bat an eye at any of them. I wouldn't have, tried to help them out. I wouldn't have tried to encourage them. I wouldn't have tried to comfort them. I wouldn't have related to them or tried to relate to them on that level. I wouldn't have gone out of my way to help them out with whatever was going on. And so, what this guy said was, once he saw my schedule, I'm not going to repeat what he said verbatim, because again, this channel is family friendly. But essentially what he said was, he asked me, why don't you just ditch them? They're worthless POSs. Anyway. And I mean, at that point, I was this close to decking the guy across the face. Because, I mean, but I knew that if I did and if I lashed out, I would be no better than he was. I would have stooped down to his level. And so what I did was I tried to be the better man in the situation. And I asked him, that's easy for you to say, you don't have a handicap. But imagine if you were in their shoes and that was said to you. What would you think then? I'll tell you. Your entire world would practically be destroyed. Emotionally. Because someone said that to you. And the guy basically went off, and, the rest was kind of history, but the point that I was trying to make is, these guys, they needed a lot of help emotionally on an emotional level, because some of them had, two in particular, they had a lot of emotional problems. Not stemming from their disability, but they just weren't, they didn't know how to handle things emotionally. And so what I did was, I would take them aside and basically, try to help them out in any way that I could. And if I was and like I said before, if I was just doing this, if I had just done that for the credit alone, I would not have tried to encourage them in any way, shape, or form. I would have just gone through each class to get the credits and to graduate. But instead, I helped them out. I went out of my way to try to assist them in any way that I could. So, saying that I'm a loser with fake cerebral palsy is a significant... I was gonna say understatement, but I think that's the right word. Is a significant misunderstanding. It's a significant misunderstanding. Because I've essentially taken what many perceived to be my greatest weakness and turned it into my greatest strength. Into one of my greatest strengths. That's not to say that I don't get emotional every now and then, like with comments like this. But I've learned to live with it. I've learned to allow it to better me. I've even used it as my personal testimony every once in a while. But, you know. And then let's go ahead and get to the last one here. The last comment, that is. Okay, now, this one was actually from a week ago. He is a creepy cult leader, you little bat. Rolling on the floor, laughing my butt off. Hashtag go to hell, a-hole. Now, what he was referring to was the fact that I didn't agree with some people on Twitter who were calling Vic a cult leader because he shared the gospel with children during his Gospel of John panels at cons. And here's the thing. Sir, if you're watching this video, I highly doubt it because, like you said, I'm just a loser with fake cerebral palsy, even though I'm literally telling you my entire story from the heart. You can't refute that. One thing they can't refute is your story, because it's from you. It's from your life. It's not from theirs. And so, what I was trying to say here, what I'm trying to say here anyway, is that thinking that Vic is a cult leader simply for sharing the gospel with people, for a lot of people that need it, that need Christ in their lives, that need hope, that need lifting up, you don't know what they're going through. They might be going through something extremely troubling. They might be going through something extremely heart-wrenching. You know, you don't know what they're going through, and Vic is just... He's helping them out. He's giving them hope. And so saying that he's a creepy cult leader is extremely... supercilious. It's extremely superfluous. It's extremely messed up. And so going back into, you know, the whole CP thing and everything, so that was one thing, you know, with the initial rhizotomy. But what happened was I had a second operation where they went in through my legs. I still have scars on my legs as well. They basically went through my legs and they lengthened my hamstrings more and stuff. But in the process, I literally had to relearn to walk all over again. Because, you know, recovery and everything. And I was in leg casts pretty much for, according to my mom, I was in leg casts for 4 weeks. And I was in those casts, and I couldn't move whatsoever. At least not my legs. I could move, you know, my upper torso just fine. But I couldn't move my lower body at all. And so, had to endure through those 4 weeks, and then the cast came off, and I had to spend the better part of a month pretty much relearning to walk all over again. It might have been more. I don't exactly remember. But I do know that it took a while for me to relearn. And fortunately I did, but again, if my case were any more severe, I would literally be in a wheelchair right now. I would be wheelchair bound. I wouldn't be able to get up and walk. I wouldn't be able to, you know, get up, move around. Heck, I don't even know if I'd be able to stand up all the way. So, but the point that I'm trying to make with this guy, if you're watching this video, whoever you are, JHHGGVGV, if you're watching this, imagine if you had one of these fake diseases. And imagine if you were ridiculed your entire life for it. How would you feel if someone put a comment on one of your YouTube videos like you just did to me? I'm waiting. I'll tell you. It would crush everything that you knew emotionally on an emotional level. You would come crashing down. You would be in complete and total turmoil emotionally. Not physically, but emotionally. And so, yeah, that's what I wanted to say about this guy's comments. And now I'm actually going to get into the second part of this. Let me see if I can find where it actually starts. There we go. Okay, so these are pictures of my workout regimen. Well, or at least a part of it, because for those of you who don't know, every day between Monday and Friday, I go to InShape between at around 7:30 in the morning, and I do a workout routine. And you know, each day is different. Like Monday I'll do bicep and tricep. Tuesday it's chest. Wednesday it's Wednesday is legs and shoulders. And Thursday is back and core. And Friday and the weekend I take off to allow my body to recover. Because my bicep was actually still hurting. They were actually still hurting yesterday at dinner from Monday's workout. I guess I really went intense on the weight. And I'm doing that to better myself. I'm doing that because pretty much for my entire life I've been super thin. And I got picked on for that as well, in addition to the CP. And I wanted to prove these haters wrong, not in a boastful way. I just wanted to better myself and my own health. And these treadmill results here are actually a example of that, because when I was in junior high, this actually correlates back to the CP. When I was in junior high, we had to run a mile in 15 minutes. And when I'm talking a mile, I don't mean a mile around a track. I mean a mile up and downhill. Uphill, run around a little bit, downhill, go through a parking lot, run back uphill, run downhill back to the track, and then run around the track one more time, back to the instructor. And for me, especially during the winter months, my muscles would just freeze up, and I could never do it. I could never pass that in 15 minutes. I could never run that mile in 15 minutes no matter how hard I did it. Because at that time, I was actually wearing prosthetic braces. And, that just impeded my progress even further. And, like I said, I couldn't do it. I was around 13 or 14 years old when that was happening. Well, the results that you're seeing right now are from a 22-year-old version of me. And initially, I was planning on only doing 10 minutes because these photos are from, okay, so each day I go to work out, I spend about 10 to 15 minutes of cardio. Allow the legs to warm up and allow the body to get moving. And stuff like that. And the cardio really helps. It really helps a lot. But what I was trying to do was I was trying to see, because the point of this wasn't to see how fast I could go. The point of this was to see how far I could go in 10 to 15. And so initially I started out at 10, and so as you can see right here with the first picture, I got pretty much a seventh of a mile in 10 minutes. That was actually the first day I did it. Second day was a little over a seventh, but not quite an eighth of a mile. The third was actually a little over a mile, 1.16. And that was also in 15. This one here, I actually hit a mile in 13. For some odd reason, the treadmill stopped at 13 minutes. I'm not really sure why that happened, but it just stopped out of nowhere. And so, you know, they kind of bummed me out a little bit, because I'm like, come on, I had 2 more minutes, really. But this one was 1.18 in 15, so I'm in 15, 1.24 in 15, 1.27 in 15. And so, as you guys can see, I'm getting faster and faster. I'm just shattering those limitations that the world has really placed on me. I'm not doing this in a boastful way. I'm not doing this to be boastful. What I'm doing this for is simply for, well, for the cardio in particular, because of the disease and because of the surgeries, I'm able to walk like everyone else can, and I'm able to stretch my legs out all the way. But because of those surgeries, basically, the longer I go without stretching or running, like intensely running or working my legs, the tighter they get. And my doctor described it like it's like a rubber band. So I wish I had one to show you here, but unfortunately I didn't get one prior to recording this. I didn't know I was going to use this analogy. But it's like a rubber band. So you stretch your rubber band out. You stretch it out, stretch it out, stretch it out, stretch it out, stretch it out. And then you let go of it. What happens? It comes back. And so with the rubber band, as it's tightening, it's also as you're stretching it out, it's tightening up. And as it tightens up, there's a breaking point for a rubber band, as well as for the hamstrings, if you let them tighten up enough. Where, essentially, I don't really know what the doctor was implying, but he made it sound like if my hamstrings got too tight at any point, I wouldn't be able to walk or something like that. That's just my guess. I don't know what he was implying. I was really young when he told me that. But I do know that there is a breaking point, and I am trying my hardest to prevent it. I am trying my hardest to prevent it from happening. Because I don't want to, you know, I don't want to lose a gift that God gave me. I don't want to lose that. I want to have it as part of my testimony. I want to use it for God's glory, and I want to use it to show people, to tell people my story like I'm telling you in this video. In fact, going back to the Vic being a creepy cult leader comment. Let me see if I can find that. Whoops. Okay, let's see. Okay, here we go. So he is a creepy cult leader. So this is the last thing I'm gonna say on this video, and then I'm gonna sign off. But like I mentioned in my Twitter post about this video, Vic has... This actually correlates directly to some roles that Vic has played, specifically Edward Elric and, at least to my knowledge, the new Broly. Because I haven't seen that much of Full Metal, but I do know that Ed is picked on a lot for being short and stuff like that. And so that upsets him a lot, and it's really funny when that happens. But people are still, you know, picking on him for that. And Ed pretty much proves in a kind of funny way that you can overcome that. I'm doing the exact same thing with my workout regimen. I'm doing the exact same thing by telling people my story. With the new Broly, it's kind of... I mean, it's not really the same thing, but those are the only two roles that I know that I've actually seen him play. Other than a brief cameo every now and then in Bleach, which I actually didn't realize it. I actually didn't realize it was him until I rewound the footage. But it was him, which really made me happy. It really made me happy to see him again. And saying that he's... once again, this is my last little tidbit on this guy's comment, and then I'm going to sign off. But saying that Vic Mignogna is a creepy cult leader is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Because he's giving these people hope. He's putting, like... He always says to spread positivity and stuff like that. And he's doing that by talking to all of these children and by talking to all of these cosplayers and congoers. And by saying that he's a creepy cult leader when he's literally giving these people hope for a lot of them that could need it, is a significant misunderstanding of what he's doing. And stuff like that. And I mean, you know, it's weird. It's weird that this guy actually thinks that Vic is a cult leader simply because he's sharing the gospel with children and expressing his faith to them. That's not... You know, I mean, that's just a stupid way to look at it. It's a dumb way to look at it. That's an idiotic way to look at it. I'm not going to go any further, but... So yeah, I appreciate you guys who have been supportive of me and my channel, even though it's relatively it's really small time compared to the likes of Hero Hey, Yellow Flash, even that Umbrella guy, especially Ricada Law. But it's really small time. I mean, it has less than 1,000 subs at the time of this video's recording. And I hope that my story has allowed you guys to see me in a new light. And I hope that it was informative, and I hope that it allowed you guys to see, you know, what's going on. Because it took me a very long time to come out with this on my channel again, because I was really afraid about how people would react to it. And most of the time when people attack me nowadays for it, I take those insults as compliments. You know, I turn their logic back around on them. But in this case, I felt like I had to address it in a video, which is obviously exactly what I just did. But I ask that you guys would just spread this video around, spread it to social media, on Twitter, share it on Facebook, stuff like that. I just hope that a lot of people, when they watch this video, I hope that they understand that I'm not a player. By which I mean I'm not a guy that plays people, whatsoever. I'm just an honest guy who's doing his best with the condition that he has. I hope that I actually shared this in a in my sophomore year of college. I was ridiculed for this for a very long time. For a very long time, and what I've learned is that, again, this disability is to be used for God's glory. It's to be used for Christ's glory. Otherwise, he wouldn't have given it to me in the first place. And like I told you, I've learned to live with it. But what I've also realized, and if anyone with disabilities if anyone with a disability is watching this video right now, if nothing else in this video has touched you, I want to leave you guys with this. These guys that are saying that you're, like this one in particular, who's saying that you are, that your opinion isn't valid, that you're worthless, that you have no value. He couldn't be any further from the truth. Because, for one thing, you have a God who knows exactly what you're worth. You're priceless. He came here to die for you. To die for you. Not just for the people without disabilities. For you. And them. He sacrificed himself once for all. Not for some. For all people. And I don't think you guys realize this. He loves you more than you can possibly imagine. He's running after you. He's coming after you. He wants you to be a part of his family. He wants you to run into his arms. Freely. In spite of what the world is saying. He wants you to accept Christ as your Lord and Savior. And if you do that, if you pray in your heart for Christ to come into your life, and you mean it sincerely, it's not the words that save you, it's the sincerity in your heart when you say them. If you truly mean that, you're a child of God. You're saved, you're forgiven. Your past, your future, your current sins are all washed away. But the main thing that I want you guys to take away, aside from that, which is probably going to be the most important part of this piece, is you are not defined by your limits. You're defined by your strengths. You are not worthless. You have value. Your opinion is 100% valid. You have friends everywhere. You have support. You have people that care about you and that want to help. All you have to do is allow them to do so. Don't let these comments get you down, guys. whatever these guys say about you. And if you want to talk about any of this, my Twitter DMs are always open. Come and talk with me about it. I mean, I'm always open to it. But again, if you're watching this video, if you managed to watch this video all the way to the end, I realize this is probably going to be like an hour-long video. I'm going to try to do as much editing as I can, though, to decrease the runtime. But to anyone who watches this video to the end, well, for one thing, I thank you for listening to my story. And again, I hope that it inspires some people. And I hope that it enlightens you to who I am, pretty much. And to JHHGGVGV, if he's still watching this, you have no idea how much stronger you've made me because of these comments. By trying to tear me down, you've only made me 10 times stronger. You've only increased my resolve. You haven't shattered it by any means. And again, what would you think if someone said something like you just said to me, and you had a disability the same like I, or something else like it? Just consider that, my friend. Consider that. Okay, so thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you managed to stick through with it to the end, I realize it was long. I realize it's long, but it took me a while to, formulate my thoughts on this whole thing. And like I said before, if you guys need encouragement about anything, or if you guys just want to talk, again, my Twitter DMs are always open. I'll actually leave a link to my Twitter in the description below, so that you guys can go check it out if you want. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and my dog just came in the room. Hey, buddy. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and God bless, and I'll see you next time. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Has my story inspired you? What do you think about it? Do you see me in it? Do you see me in a new light now? And stuff like that. Alright, so thank you guys so much once again for watching, and God bless. See ya.